Hello, good evening. My name is Teri Magee, and tonight I'm going to like to speak with you about the Kate Spade company and how it compares with the industry averages in the fashion accessory industry. Kate Spade was started back in 1993. Women loved the graphic approach and soon became a recognizable brand throughout the world. The line broadened to include clothing, jewelry, bedding, fragrance, shoes, and in 2006, Kate Spade was bought out by the much larger company, Liz Claiborne. This gave the company resources and recognition that it had never had before, and it introduced them to the world market. I'm going to be discussing this evening different ratios and what to look for on their financial statements to prove how they compare with the industries as a whole, but how the company stands up and whether or not it would be a good investment to invest in. So we will start with the current ratio, and the current ratio is used to determine the company's ability to pay its debt. A ratio under 1 indicates that liabilities are greater than its assets, so generally you want a ratio that's higher than 1, so that they're in a good position to pay back their debt. When trying to decipher this ratio and what it means, you need to look at certain things as well. You need to look at what their current assets are. If a substantial portion of the current assets are tied up in slow-moving or obsolete inventories, this number could become misleading. There is also the possibility that a company may have a lower ratio but still have no problems meeting its debt because they have very liquid assets. So you kind of have to feel out and look deeper into the statements to find out what kind of assets they currently have. Kate Spade right now has an excellent current ratio at 3.375%. The industry average is at 1.9%. So the company as a whole should be very easily able to handle all of its debt if it were to be called due. The quick ratio is used to determine how well a company can meet its short-term liabilities. How is it going to pay for its day-to-day, month-to-month liabilities? This gives you an idea of how liquid the company is. Kate Spade again has a very good quick ratio at 2.48 with an industry average very low at a 0.6. So it's really high up there compared to its competitors within the industry. So Kate Spade has plenty of liquid assets and plenty of cash moving to keep business flowing day to day. The inventory turnover ratio gives you an idea of how fast the inventory will turn over within a period of time. We're looking at year reports, so this is how fast they're going to go through inventory within a year. Kate Spade has a ratio of 3.09, and this basically means that the inventory gets replaced 3.09 times in a year, or roughly every 118 days. The industry average right now is at 3.8, which is about every 96 days. So Kate Spade is a little bit longer than the industry average, but it's still turning over its inventory at a pretty good rate. The accounts receivable turnover ratio is used to determine the effectiveness of the firm to extend credit to its customers, or and how it can collect that debt back. Kate Spade has a 0.09 accounts receivable turnover, with the average, the industry average is at 3.9. So Kate Spade is at good standing with its customers who owes money and is able to collect that money as well. The return on assets ratio will show the percentage of a profit that a company will earn in comparison to all of the company's resources. Again, Kate Spade has a return on assets at 12.84%, and this is excellent compared to the industry average of 9.7%. Return on common stockholder equity is figured, is your next ratio. The number will basically tell you the profitability of the company by showing you how much profit a company generates from the money that is invested into the company. So the return on stockholders' equity is at 87 cents. So for every stock that is owned, 87 cents is brought back as profit, so that's good. The industry average at this point is at 19%, so 87% is a really high return on that. Earnings per share is the monetary value that each outstanding share of stock. This measures how many dollars of net income is earned at the current moment by each outstanding share of common stock reported on the balance sheet. Again, we're at 87 cents is the earning per share. And this is an important number for current and possibly future stockholders to evaluate for if a dividend is paid or increases in the value of the company stocks will depend largely on the company's earnings. So looking at historical figures can also be an indication of, is the company continuing to grow year to year in their earnings. The debt to asset ratio is an indicator that tells you the percentage of the assets that are financed. In this case, Kate Spade has a fairly high debt to asset ratio. 61% of their assets are financed. The company average, or the industry average, is at 50%, so it's not too far out of the ballpark, but they're just saying that they do have the debt. But as we looked at earlier in some of the other ratios, they do have the money to repay that debt if need be. The book value per share is used to calculate the per share value the company has based in the equity to the common stockholders. Kate Spade has a per book value of 70 cents per share, so basically that's just what it's stating the value of a share of stock is on the books. So in looking at Kate Spade's financial numbers, this appears to be a very strong company. Most of the financial ratios outperformed the industry averages, and I believe that they have a strong customer base. They offer a high-end product with a high selling point, and the inventory turnover is a bit sluggish comparatively, but turning over is not, it is turning over and it's not becoming obsolete. The company has a large asset base with comparatively little debt to maintain that, and they are fairly liquid and should have no trouble meeting all of its short-term and long-term obligations. So in my view, Kate Spade has an excellent return on stockholders' equity, and they seem to be using all of their resources wisely. I would highly recommend investing in this company.